More like,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your business to six figures and beyond. Pow! So today I'm so excited. I have one of my students, Wallace. And what I love to do is interview people that are actually doing it. And so Wallace ended up joining us. He's one of our students. But what I love about his story is he started getting a little success before he became one of our students. And he gave me some real good information for those of you that are in the grind, looking to really make this work. I'm going to ask him a couple of real easy questions on why did he choose government? What are some of his small success wins? And why did he decide to join us, even though he'd already had a little success? So Wallace, thank you for being here. I just love to know what is your company name, and then you go right in to what you feel comfortable sharing with us.
all right, all right. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Miss M, for taking the opportunity to actually to give me an opportunity to share my story because I think that you're doing a great job in what you're doing.
Well, thank
It's
you.
there's a lot of people out that are making a lot of promises in government contracting, but you have to kind of be able to vet people and you've done your program is awesome, and I recommend it to anybody that's looking to get into the government contracting space
Well,
because
thank
it
you.
is the treacherous field to get into if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited about that. So, how did you end up wanting? Well, first tell me what's the name of your company?
My name of my company is Judah Kingdom Wealth Management, and
Okay.
we're into mostly doing the middleman strategy.
Oh, people
I
love that middleman strategy. So I'm
Yes.
so excited. You can tell us a little bit about what is the real deal with the middleman because you hear a lot about it. And, just kind of go into, I know you told me that you had gotten success with doing a couple of contracts, but I love when you talked about having to reach out to the contracting officer to build a relationship. So go right ahead with, your story. And I'd love to share that.
Thank you. Yeah, the building a relationship with the contracting officer is paramount. I know when you first get into the space, there's a lot of confusion on like first of all learning the jargon, how to actually communicate with them because they speak a government type of language, and so you have to learn to understand what they're looking for, and that's basically what you're trying to do is present your product in a way or your ability to help them. It's not, I know a lot of times when you first get into these spaces, there's a lot of promises that you can just jump right in and start making these hundreds of $1,000 contracts. But in actuality, in order for you to actually be successful, you have to first position yourself so that you can be a viable candidate. Because what happened is that even if you happen to get one of these contracts, which is not difficult to do, is can you perform the work necessary to
Yes.
accomplish what they're looking for? Because you don't want to get blacklisted as someone who got a contract and wasn't able to fulfill it.
That is a
Um,
good thing there because you're so right. People tell you that they won a contract, and sometimes you don't hear the story of what happened after they won the contract. That's just the beginning of it. But I know when I spoke to you before, you talked about that you had gotten a VA contract. So I want to be a little specific with the VA contract. So you're not a veteran.
no, actually, I'm not a veteran,
Mhm.
but I did apply and got this contract. Now, this contract wasn't it wasn't a real high paying contract, but the contract was for 5 years. So it's lucrative over time. And
Okay.
another thing that was good about this contract, it gave me an opportunity to get a foot in the door with the VA itself, with the organization.
Okay.
Because once you establish relationship and you start working with the contracting officer, it opens up other doors to other opportunities for larger and more robust contracts, especially if they see that you're very diligent and that thorough about what you're doing and you're fulfilling what you're saying that you're going to do. Because that's very important to them, because they're
Yes.
held accountable for what you
It
do.
is. A lot of people don't realize these are people just like we are. And so when they go out there and they get someone and they're doing the contract, they don't want to fail in front of their superiors' eyes that they're giving you this contract and then you're causing all this drama and they're having to look at debarring you, being
Exactly.
disbarred and the whole nine. Did you find the contract on a bidding platform or was it on Sam or was it referred to you? How'd you find the contract
Well,
to even bid on it?
actually, what I have when I first started, I researched. I did a lot of researching, knowing that my daily routine had to be that I had to get on Sam's on a daily to just look for different contracts that it looks like that I could fulfill.
Okay.
This one was more of a janitorial type of contract, but
Okay.
I knew a company that could fulfill the job, and I had been building a relationship with them because I had actually bid on this contract before and did. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Sometimes when they start, they may offer a contract, but the contracting officers are actually not the end users. They're
Right.
just setting it up for someone else.
Exactly.
And sometimes they change. So I'm not actually sure what exactly happened, but the contract didn't go through. But I stayed in contact with the janitorial service, and we kind of built a rapport. And they kept asking, and then voila, it came up again, and they reached out and reached out to me for the
Okay.
contract.
So the contract was on Sam. So it wasn't on a bidding platform. It was just on Sam.gov that you found it originally.
That's exactly right. I usually go on Sam's to originally find contracts because I know that there are other platforms that have opportunities, but they're very saturated. Sam's has pretty much they're kind of like the top tier in getting fresh fruit daily, because
Okay.
they're very
They're very good. It's funny because I love to hear that story. You hear so many people
mhm,
that say by the time you go to Sam.gov, it's too late. That's why I always let individuals know. There are three websites that I absolutely use in the 28 years I've been doing this:
mhm,
Sam.gov, acquisition.gov for contracts that are coming out. So that may be one of my strategies, just like Sam, and then
mhm,
fpds.gov for contracts that are expiring because 70% of those are renewed. So I always tell individuals Monday may be a Sam day, Tuesday may be an acquisition day, Wednesday may be a FPS day. You're constantly rotating because different things are coming out. And you are true to form where you located yours on Sam. The
mhm,
end user may not have, maybe they ran out of money. I know that sometimes they get pots of money. They
mhm.
need that money for something else. They put it out there, you win the bid, but then they end up not actually going and utilizing the fact that the contract's been awarded because maybe something else came up and then it comes back out again. So how did you vet the middleman? What did you, well, because you guys had already had the report, did you find them just Googling them? That's what a lot of people want to know. I know you mentioned to me you're pretty good at the vetting piece.
Mhm.
What makes you feel that you were great at the vetting, and how did you just look for people in your area? How did you find someone to vet?
Well, actually, you're exactly right. I usually try to get companies that are in my state or in
Okay.
my area. Now, I have a contract outside of the state, but that was because the contracting officer had a good rapport with me, and they needed it fulfilled. And just like I say, when they have a good rapport with you, they'll just give you stuff off. I didn't have to bid, or it was a complete no bid situation.
Oh, so you got a no bid. Okay.
Yeah,
So the
got
no bid is reality. I tell people that is the relationship ends up landing quite a few of the no bid. And those small, nice little contracts that could be for, like you said, 4 or 5 years are
mhm.
what builds up your past performance. The no bid is very closely related to relationships.
It really is, and especially if you find some of these contracting officers are very they have so many people reaching out to them, they don't get back with you. But if you find one that actually gets back with you, and you can start contacting them or have a phone call, that's initial start. And if once they get familiar with you, even if you don't win the contract, you can go to Sam's, put the contracting officer's name in Sam's, and they will list all their contracts. And so every time they have a contract, if you just keep bidding, they'll get familiar with you, and they'll give you an opportunity eventually because of your diligence.
Okay,
So there are
I
many
like that.
yeah, it's many different strategies out there if you just start to get familiar with how like the websites work. Because Sam's can be quite complicated if when you first introduced to it, but once you start getting used to getting on there every day and getting familiar with it, I'm pretty sure that that they're in as long, I guess you can use the same strategy with all the different platforms, is just being familiar because everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different style or technique or something that makes them feel comfortable in that space. And that's going to be a good sign. This is where you need to be at. And so,
Yes.
and another strategy I use also is making sure that I find other areas of my interest, things that I'm very interested in. I do my vetting process is basically going on Googling the people, and then going on acquisitions, .gov. That's prime way to find out who's won contracts before, and also going to the Better Business Bureau to see if they've had any complaints.
Good stuff. Well, Wallace, one of the things I love is we have a very simple formula, OBART, offer, buyer, avenue, relationship, and teaming. And one of the things, if you said, is you hit on all of those. One, you have to position yourself. I talk all about being attractive and visible and making sure you have everything there. So many people think once they've gotten their cage code, they're already home. That's just the beginning. You're going into the detail of, yes, this is lucrative, but you have to put the work in. I've listened to some of the things you've mentioned. A lot of people aren't willing to do that. That's why they're not getting success. You did your markets research. You knew what you were looking to offer, your avenues you wanted to win through middleman. You knew that you wanted to become familiar with the websites and spend time learning. Then you started building the R for relationships. Then teaming is finding people that are going to do the middleman for you. And then knowing that the no bid strategy works. They will reach out to you if you're giving them value. If they feel that you've got skin in the game, you're just not trying to be lazy and I want a contract. You get to know the end user, you get to know them. All of those things are a part of what we decide to teach, because I know I've been there and it does work. And I love when I do an interview, and not so much when you do an interview with people that won 100,000, 50,000, 85. I've done those, but the key is to let anyone can do this if they put the work in. And the goal is, if I hear that someone's winning 85 million or 75,000, I may not have won any contracts. That may not motivate me as much as knowing that these are some of the steps. I want to know what the steps are. What is the process for me to get there? And that is what you were so gracious to share, that you've given people some techniques that you actually use to win contracts in today's day. Now, not a couple of years ago, but right now, a no bid, which is one of the things we teach in our disaster relief contracts and in our Crack the Gov code. So I just love hearing stories. I love hearing small wins that end up being the beginning of a serious, serious, serious business. And so I just want to say thank you so much for being one of our students. Thank you for spending your time sharing some on the ground, things that you're doing to really make it happen. And I love to say, if anyone wants to have the success Wallace has, he's putting the work in, he's got his strategies, he's doing it. Definitely click the link so you can join one of our GovCon workshops. They're free. This is where Wallace came. He met us on our free. And then when we shared some other things we had, he decided to become a student. And once you're a student, you are with us for a lifetime. So Wallace, thank you again. And anyone that's interested, please click the link. We look forward to joining you. And I'll see you on our live workshop in about an hour, Wallace. Once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yourself
Anytime.
a fantastic day.
You too. Be blessed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.